do have another question, and this one's coming through the GRTV Facebook option, and this one is from Chris. With GRC Proposal 2 being passed in the recent election, how do you see marijuana regulation being enforced now, and how do you see this impacting the city in the future? So that was the second city proposal that was on the ballot, and that one did pass.
Yes, yes. Decriminalize, I think what's going to happen is that there won't be a tremendous amount of change, because many times with small quantities there was not an arrest. However, at this point there cannot be an arrest with a small quantity. Now, the proposal itself didn't identify what small quantity was, but it did not, like in, for example, the city of Ann Arbor, it did not exclude sale of marijuana. That will still operate under our state law, Michigan law. And typically, it's pretty easy for our police officers, public safety, to determine when there's a sale involved, because there's a larger quantity, they're familiar with the circumstances around sales versus somebody having some possession. So if someone is caught possessing a small amount, you know, an ounce or so, whatever, and I'm not real sure on what that all looks like and means, but they will just be given a ticket, and the ticket will start out at $25 and it can go to $50, and the maximum is a $100 ticket. And so you could be ticketed again, of course, if you're caught another time with $100 at the maximum. But we're still waiting to hear all the details from public safety. This has just been passed, and the election certification process isn't quite done, so and that's supposed to be done on December 6th, which is when this new law would take effect. So we'll see. Long term, you know, we had a couple of states that have legalized marijuana now. I don't know that we're ready to do that. I would like to really look at this from the standpoint of public health. How is it affecting people? Let's do some research. Let's get some metrics and prepare ourselves for the possibility that sometimes there might be on the ballot a question about legalization as well. But I feel pleased that this is starting out as it is. We're taking it a step at a time to decriminalize and take a look at its effect on the city and on health. I haven't looked at this study, but I heard that in Colorado there have been some cases where there's been a shift away from alcohol to marijuana.
That is one of the states that legalized marijuana.
That's one of the states that legalized it. So, you know, and we certainly have lots of problems with overuse of alcohol. And it's, you know, prohibition came and went, and people can drink, but sometimes not responsibly. Certainly if people are caught using marijuana or alcohol and driving, that's going to be an offense that will continue to be enforceable on state law. Right. Under the influence doesn't change, right, and it shouldn't.
Commissioner Kelly, you were an early supporter of this effort by Decriminalize GR. Tell a little bit about your reasons.
Well, a number of things. We're certainly under the gun now to transform in the city and to save money, and to allocate our precious resources, our police resources, to dealing with small amounts of possession. Already the police department was backing away, in many communities have been backing away from that. So looking at what other communities have done, Ann Arbor and Traverse City and now Kalamazoo, when this came to us, and it was citizen-led, it wasn't something that the commission decided to put on the ballot. When you get over 10,000 signatures, I think you have to pay attention to that. So we did, and I supported it because I think it will save the city money, and again, I think it's high time we really take a good look at marijuana use, not only because of its effect on people in the city in terms of using our resources, but who's getting arrested? Is there any discrimination in who's getting arrested? What are the effects on people using marijuana? And what potential effects might this even have in terms of our larger war on drugs and what's happening in Mexico with the cartels and all the violence? I think we have a responsibility to look at that, and it's long overdue. We've had this war on drugs for over 20 years, and we haven't had a whole lot of success. I think we do need to focus on addiction and public health, and how can we be more responsive to that issue, and how can we maybe be more compassionate. For example, the Red Cross Project and the needle exchange. When you bring people into that system in a non-threatening way, sometimes that's when you can really attack addiction. there are programs that are like that we need to explore more carefully and not just always go with the status quo. It's time for a review, I think.
Okay. And you did mention one part of it that was important to you had to do with who's getting arrested. Can you address that point a little bit? That was a big focus of the Decriminalize GR effort, that there was some inequality to that.
Right, right. Well, you know, I just not too long ago took a trip with some of the community organizers. We went to Chicago and we visited the Gage Gallery at Roosevelt University. And there was an exhibit that was really moving to me, and it was all about incarceration of young people. And it was a photographic exhibit, and I was just horrified to see the conditions in which we put young people for crimes. And if you would consider this a crime or not, that's another debate, you know, use of marijuana. But I just think that, I don't know what the numbers are here in Grand Rapids, but I think it's something that we have to look at, and we should always be looking at. Are we targeting a certain population, not necessarily intentionally, but if that's the case, then what can we do to challenge that and to change it? And I don't think we need to be locking people up, young people, because one of the things that we know was that if you were arrested and it was a criminal charge, then that would affect future employment, and it could affect getting your Pell Grants taken away. And we need to be moving people through the system and the educational system so they can be successful in life. And that was a barrier to that success that I thought should be removed.